All right, what's up, you guys? So we're just gonna hop right on into it, all right? Because I'm gonna see y'all Monday, but this will give y'all 2 days to prepare. What? It's kind of late, whatever. You got time to prepare, and then on Monday, I know a couple of y'all were kind of asking, you wanted to know how I picked my swing trades. Maybe we can kind of go through that on Monday, like when we sit down and meet. But for now, I'm just gonna go through on my watch list. I already kind of separated them from StarBucks down for the ones that we're gonna start off looking at. Check the pinned messages in the swing trade challenge channel for what my charts will look like, what the averages are, what our rules are, blah, 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 all of that stuff. But so first up, we got StarBucks, beautiful head and shoulders that played out here. We exited this week, so about 3 weeks ago, and it was a good exit. It's just sat here and consolidated. Now on the daily, we are getting a pullback. It is pulling back. I have no plans to do anything. I want to see what happens when it returns to the consolidation here. I'm curious. I'm curious to see, are we gonna, will it take this and then this kind of ends up being like a double bottom subjectively and we get this move back up, or are we gonna make a lower high from in here? If you have a hard time seeing like where the pivot points are or where the retracements are, where the pullbacks are, whatever you want to call it, I like this indicator, the pivot points high low. So we see this was our last, like, most recent high was the 107.66. Our most recent low is this 94.85. There is this consolidation in here where it attempted to pull back. So again, this is what I'm waiting for in here. And if we put this level right here, like look at the confluence of this level going all the way across. Like look at that. Held it as support. And then this is also where that gap started, right? Where ended, I guess we could say. That was the end of that gap. From the close, whatever. From the close of one candle to the open of the next. Right, and this is a lovely little demand zone that we had play out in here. From the close of this day to the open of this day, right? So about, what is this, 138 down to 90.78? We have this range that it's sitting in. So this is what I'm going to be looking for. If we lose this level, this 94.89, this could be nice down into this 92.54, but StarBucks can also make this journey in a day. And we're over here swing trading, right? So it'll be situational. It'll depend, because if it does lose this level and the market has momentum behind it, right? Like the market is just like running down with it or running up, whichever way it's doing it, then that is, let me pause and let me show y'all where I moved this. Yeah, that came back. All right, let me turn this off. So the level went back to where I originally had it. And then I moved it down because I was looking at this and I was like, I wouldn't want to get in right when it lost 94.89, because look at these 2 days where it bounced back up. So I need to put my level below right there on those wicks, the actual low of this drop in here. And then look how it held in here. Beautiful. So 94.29 actually is what I'd be looking at, which is helping me to kind of see, I don't think I'd take this journey. If it lost a trend line, absolutely, right? Losing out of this demand zone gap. And then above the 99.28, because that would be breaking the neckline of what we could say is a double bottom now playing out. Right. We could say this was one bottom, two bottoms. If it broke here, this is breaking the neckline. And then this is worth it to be catching from the 99.17 to 102.10, possibly looking to hold runners for it to break above. And then we could exit as it pulls back and then look to, if it holds this, get back in to trade it from the 102 up to the 107. So those are two options that we're looking at, no pun intended, for the upside and downside of StarBucks. Now on the weekly, I definitely like this on the weekly. My natural bias is kind of thinking like we're gonna push up. You know, we got us a little bullish harami in here. We're gonna break above here, but we're gonna watch price action. That's what we're gonna do. Airbnb. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I started looking at this chart a little bit, you know, because I just like to stare at it. And I'm just like, So definitely go back and watch the video from last week that's in this channel on YouTube, or if you're inside of the Discord. But I started looking at this and I said, are we playing out? Like, because if this continues to drop on down here, are we playing out a possible inverted head and shoulder, giving us this move up here, right? Which also gives us a double-sided swing trade, because we can go ahead and continue to trade it down and then catch the bounce back up. Because, well, actually, let me put those back to where that right shoulder would be. And if I turn my averages on, child, the yellow is my 20, the blue is my 50. Again, if you watch my videos, you know how I feel about the 20 and the 50 being the value zone. We already lost the 20, which is make a big think we're gonna come down here to this 50, which is at 129.25, which is that around that level. I was telling y'all, this is where we want to buy. Shawty, I'm kind of thinking we might end up losing this primary trend line, the white one. I'm kind of thinking. I'm wondering. But again, we'll watch price action. I'm not interested in catching this. I'm gonna wait and see what they do at the trend line. And when it do break the trend line, we're still not gonna get in. I'm gonna wait and see if it pulls back to the trend line first. Okay, but I kind of am thinking we could get a little love down here towards this 129 maybe. And there are people saying that Airbnb's run is over. I don't know. I kind of really don't care. We're just gonna trade price action. We're just gonna trade price action, and it's easy. We can just follow those averages. Now, let's say that Airbnb just came in here and just it ends up holding this trend line, then of course, like, we'll look at that, you know. We'll look on the daily for a price action signal and look at the option flow for it and everything, and we might get us a nice little bounce and trade it back up. But yeah, to the upside, but wouldn't really be interested in it until it crossed above this 137 level, because we do have this lovely, and honestly right here, just purely because of this lovely little gap right here. We love to see it. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring it on across. And we could even bring it on across to like all the way over there. And just look at that. Look at that. Look how it held that. Whether it was as resistance, support, resistance, all in there. And look where we are right now. By golly, Miss Molly. Okay. And we can't be fools to this either. So where this closed here, and I'm gonna make it a different color gap. I know it's like squares all over, but it works for me. This was a very huge demand gap, right? From the close of this candle to the open of that one. And then I'll change this one different colors like blue since we're overlapping in here. But we see this gap. Now, of course, it already got filled. We see price action already in there, but this is they buy in here. We can clearly see that they buy it up in here. Money exchanges hands in here. It sold off right there, but bought it up again in there, right? And we're coming right down here to down here. So it would kind of make me think maybe this is where, if this does lose this trend line around here, this 134, it'll make it down here to about 132.33. And then this is where it would find a little bit of support to pull back to the trend line and then possibly reject or boom, come back above it. And if we turn our averages on, look at that confluence. That's my 100 moving average right there. It could hold this. Again, we'll just follow price action, but I like to play out all the scenarios it can make in both directions. So then I'm not surprised about anything. I'm just taking the move. All right, Capital One. I ended up pulling out this day. That bearish harami was enough for me. Good, pulled out that day. outside bar, whatever you want to call it. And then in the last like week or so, the last, what is it, 6 trading days, it's trying to like gain that back. But in one day, it lost what it did in 5 days. And then in 6 days, momentum kind of coming in there. But look at that. Look at the volume down here. That's not matching. This pullback has me thinking, I don't know. Let us see a return down here towards 125 and a $5 move on Capital One. Listen, we would love to see it. Let's see what this weekly look like. Oh yeah, look at that. Diminished volume. Look at that. I can delete this. We already broke all of that. This is a low. Now, of course, I don't think that Capital One is going to return down here. According to seasonality, I think Capital One should actually be doing really well right now. Let's check it out. I think this is about the time where it'll pull up, pick up, whatever. Mind your biz, mind your business. I'm gonna get rid of AT&T internet because why is you moving that slow? I blinked like 50 times. Okay, let me write this in my trading journal. That June 21st, 2024, they put in a lot of money over there. At the 120 and 130 strike prices. So between here and where it is now, pretty much. I really can delete like several of these lines. Let's see. We were in this range, trade the 6. Now we are per. But this is untested, so I'm going to leave this as a supply zone. I believe in testing, retesting it. What am I doing? 120 to 130. I already saw that. Seasonality, that's what I'm looking for. I was like, what did I come over here for? Where are you at? I swear I know how to use this site. I promise I do. It's just so many, that's what y'all be saying about the Discord. There's so many rooms, but watch what I'm finna do. Actually, let me read support and resistance really quick. Let's see, we'll go to the stock. I'm just gonna keep looking. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. There we go. Seasonality. Look at God. Okay, so July, but January, oh, it usually takes a dip in January. Picks up May, June, July, big dip in August. So typically, let me make sure I'm reading that right. And the easiest way to do that is, we can even just look on the weekly. So let's look at, what was that, June? Not I'm giving y'all a class, July. So this is July. The start of July came from like 99 up to 112, so like a $12 push. Let's look at another July. Okay, lies, you tell. Wait, oh, okay, nope, this was July, it started July, so 104 to, I mean, we'll say at the height 118 is like a $4 push up. Let's look at a couple more Julys. Just the first week of July here, so a low of 141 to like 155. That was a nice push then. So July, yeah, kinda. And then let's look at January to make sure I'm reading that right, that it usually takes a dip in January. We'll just start in here. January, and then came back down. Yeah, pulled back here. All right, so that was January 21, January 22, push up. And then like the third week, because was it the third week of January over here in 21? I think it was the third week of January when it pushed down. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So January 22. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll look at January 23. And will it pushed up January 23? 1, 2. Well, look here on the 3rd, because it opened up here and then did push all the way down the 3rd week of January. Boy, I tell you, seasonality, it do not take that much to sit here and just focus. Take a little piece of information, focus on that, right? So here we come. This is the first, well, no, we ain't even in the 3rd week of January. So we still have this coming up week, the week of the 1st. Well, I'm gonna go by expiration date. So the week of the 5th, January 5th, week of January 12th, and then January 19th. So January 15th through the 19th is when, according to seasonality, when we should be that's when we should be looking for for this. Let's go back up. That was only 3 years that we looked at. Let's go back some more years. Let's look, we can even go January, March, April, May, June. Girl, July. It's not hard. Here we go. Of course, the banks did terrible in 2018 when Trump was in office. Let me stop. Okay. First week of July, second, third. They're really kind of consolidated in 18, 19. Oh, wait, I'm looking at January now. Not July, January. All right, January. Come on, mouse. Magic mouse my ass. All right, first week of January, second week of January, third week of January. Let's go, bro. That's 2018, 2019. Monday the 31st. That of 2018, that would have been, let me just look at the calendar. That would have been the first week of January if it was the 31st. Let's see. December 2018. Monday the 31st was well, obviously on Monday. So yeah, that was the first trading week. So 1, 2, 3. But if we really went by just a full January, the full January week, 1, 2, 3. And we already looked at 20. That's enough for me. That's enough for me right there. We got look. We're looking for capital one to the downside. That's enough for me. INTC is a purely we see what this stock doing in here. We see what that stock doing on this return to all-time high. This one is more of a, above 53. That's gonna be one that we can sit in, but I'll more so like look for this one once we've gained some capital, because this is one that I'll be like, let's get in and we're just gonna sit in it and be looking to take it from 53 up here. You see this supply zone gap. And the reason why I'm calling it a supply zone gap is because it gapped down overnight. Sellers make the market drop, right? Buyers make the market rise. So I'd be looking, so what is this from 57.63 to 55.46? visibility, I only want to see it on the daily. No, weekly. Well, that's that range. Wait, was it 55? Yeah, 46 to 57. Close enough, whatever. So above there is lit, is lit, is lit. I don't necessarily, I mean, like I said, INTC is one that we're just gonna have to watch. Oh, look, I just saw this trend line here. Just like my eyes just kind of like went across looking at this, right? Like if I never would have moved this trend line from when it did there, pulled back and it broke it. We pulled back up above, took it, did this morning star above it, right? If this does end up doing like a cup and handle pattern, because it very well could. You have to look ahead of you to swing trade. And to trade period, but definitely to swing trade. Because look, this is working its way back up here to these previous highs. We could look at this as it's a rounding bottom and it could get up here and then pull back to this trend line. Now watch, I bet my bottom dollar. If I turn these averages on, that's where the 200 MA is. Let's go. Let's go. It'd be pulling back towards the 200 MA to possibly bounce because y'all know we think INTC is going to be on the move this year. So if it does pull back, I would not mind trading the pullback at all. At all. Again, it'll be situational if none of our other swings are going. If it's like kind of janky, if INTC has if it's pulling back, but technology is running up, I wouldn't be interested. Like I like for things to work together in one accord when I'm getting into it. So if I'm swinging a stock in the technology sector, I want to see XOK, which is the technology ETF. I want to see that's up, or I want to make sure that like the leading in stocks or leading companies inside of XOK are up, aka NVIDIA, ABGO, Apple, Microsoft, right? I like to trade in congruence with that. So it'll just be situational whether or not we take INTC as it's pulling back. I will absolutely explain my thought patterns with y'all, but like I said, one of my rules that I wrote on that pinned message, I'm not taking no suggested tickers. I be in my own world, and it works for me. Now if this just goes, because it did gap up once, right? And so usually like especially when you see like a big gap like this, well, not usually, typically, maybe, I'd just say if it does another gap up on Tuesday, I'd be thinking, okay, we could possibly be looking at a 3 gap up pattern. And the 3 gap up pattern typically, or a 3 gap down pattern typically signifies a reversal. Let me put this in a Discord so that y'all have this to look at, because you should be studying, because the name of the game is that y'all want to learn how to do this for yourself, right? Although, keep paying me, please, 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 to do these challenges, please, 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 please. I'm here for the people. But why is this not pulling up? But the name in the game that y'all wanted is to be able to do this for yourself so that you don't have to pay anybody. Look, it don't want me to put that in there. I'll do it later. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, we love to see the seasonality. So usually on Mondays. So usually Capital One has bullish days on Monday and Thursday. Let's look at it on the daily and be like, is Mondays and Thursdays, is that usually a bullish day? I need to draw this trend line right here. My secondary trend. Now, if you've taken my class before and you're like, secondary trend, you're on the daily experience. I can just spot it. This got to pull back here. And look at that. That's the evening star pattern on the daily. Dang it, we should have swung this on Friday. That's an evening star pattern here on the daily. This coming back to that trend line. That's coming back to that trend line. Look, and look what's at the trend line, my 20 MA. Yeah, that's pulling back. Yeah. So capital, what is this? Oh, INTC is actually going to be at the top of my list for us in here to see if it holds the 20 on the daily. If it does, we're going long. What did I come over here for? Yeah, forgot. All right, Starbucks. We looked at Starbucks, right? Oh yeah, because I went ahead. Okay, so oh no, Capital One on the daily. What days was it? Mondays and Thursdays. Because even if I trust this site, I'm still gonna put my eyes on it. Mondays and Thursdays. Well, that went straight up. Let's look where there's like a mixed week, I guess. So when this came down in here, lies you tell Monday with your bearish ass. There's a Thursday. I mean, I could believe it on Thursday, but I ain't seen, okay, that's a bullish Monday. I was gonna say, where's, I don't know if I'd hold to that. Okay, Baba, man, y'all see that? Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Then let me look up Baba real quick. Got to check seasonality, especially since we're coming into a new year. We like that. Monday, or not Mondays. What the hell month? January's are bullish months. We like that. And y'all already know what we finna do. We finna back test it. What did it say? What are we looking at? Oh, January's. Okay, baby. Let's get to January now. But it is bye-bye in 2020. So I don't know. Okay, January, which went up 21. January 22. You're looking a little bearish, January 22. January 23. Okay. So let's go back some more, because what is that? 2 for 1? Why is it so hard for me to find months on here? Okay, 16 you came down, so that's 2 for 2. Came up, 3 for 2 going up, that's 17. You looking 18. Okay, that went up, 4 for 2 going up, 19. That went up, 5 for 2 going up, and we already looked at 20, 21. All right, the statistics are on our side that January is a bullish month. On the weekly, I mean, we just in here at a beautiful level, y'all. Absolutely beautiful. Let me mark this chart off. Let me mark off my demand, my supply and demand. Subjectively. Can't forget your trend line. Ever. Unless you want to stay broke, then that's on you. Pushing right there, so 78 up into 85. That's worth my time, okay? Let's pull up Bree's little algo. Well, not little, not little. It dash sure ain't little. Now, if you're looking at this and you're confused by the lines, okay. Remember, she's a Black genius. I'd be confused too, Shawnee. But look, that's right where my trend line is. This is a level on the fib, the 786. Okay. So the 83.85 makes me feel good that I was already looking for like a push to the trend line. Let's see where my averages are. Break the 20, get up here to the 50. So we could be looking to trade this from 78 into 81, which Baba, I'm on the weekly chart. Baba does not move that much in a day. So that could be a very nice trade, actually. Swing trade from above 78, our first target being 81.80. Baby, if you don't get your butt up there. And then the next one being at the trend line at the 50, so like 87.60. And possibly even a false breakout above the trend line in here, but this might give us this beautiful push to 93.79. Because this is like this trend line been in play this whole year, this resistance trend line. So that I wouldn't be mad at it. Now, wouldn't get puts unless it broke down below here, like 69.26, right? Which that could take weeks to do. So I'm more so looking at this for an upside push into the trend line. GE. Was it GE or GM? Bree just put me on to this one. Where is that, sis? Yeah, GE. Oh, the yearly chart. So let us go to the 12-month chart. This don't look like hers. Do it. Oh yeah, it do. She just don't use TradingView. Loser. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just do it like this. This is my support trend line. We word it like that, right? And then this is my resistance trend line. Oh, she got it. She got it more so like right here. And that's fine. Let me put it like right in there. Look a little bit different because I looked at the 12-month instead of just, I'm not trying to go all the way and do all that. Then come back on the weekly. Y'all see that? And that's right where we are. That's right where we are. This is a strong retracement level. This 105.90. We'll just say 106, psychological whole number. So my trend line, not just the most perfect thing, right? But you see last week we started to get a little bit of a breakout of it. However, decreased volume. However, the momentum is to the upside. This is just one of those ones where it's like, let's watch it and trade it. But my first target would be this 141. Like this break this, that's long. That's a go long. That's a we gonna buy out and might not get back in nothing. Because it's just gonna run. Look at this level, right? It's where we look to want to trade that. So the high of last week was 129.20. So I'm gonna be looking for above like 130 for a push into actually above 132.50. Let me mark it and I'll show y'all what I see. Right in here. See this one, that's where that pulled back in there. We got a little gap action in there, holding our support, all of that. So I love this range, 132.50 into the 141.09. But also with like, I don't necessarily think that I want to trade the pullback. And the reason why is because this beautiful double bottom got the push from the 48.55 up to 132.50. And it continued to make lower or higher lows, right? So we have higher low. And then it ran for, I mean, my goodness, from January to October. So 10 months. It just, straight up. And then pulled back, consolidated for a little bit the month of October, and then went. So I wouldn't be interested in trading a pullback because I'd wonder, are we gonna continue to make lower highs? Because if so, then this shouldn't make it all the way back down to the 105. It should make it like here to the top of the consolidated period, right? But it might break that and then come down here. And if it did break this consolidation, still wouldn't be interested. But if it lost the 105.90, it's game time, baby. We trading it back down to these highs. 1, 2, 3 highs, right? Like towards the 87. So not interested in trading the pullback because it's been making higher lows. So I would rather watch to see it make a higher low or break previous support. And then I'd say, okay, well, this uptrend is over. It just broke that, right? And again, if you have problems seeing those highs, use this indicator to pivot high low. And you can do that. Always have a trend line drawn. Okay. Always have your trend lines drawn. There's 3 sets of trend lines, your primary, secondary, minor. Keep up with them. AbbVie. Sexy. Well, my trend line a little thrown off in here, but it's still sexy. On the weekly, I'm looking like, do we got a problem? No, I'm just playing. Is this on the weekly? Full flag on the week. That's what I'm looking at. Let's see. Actually, let me just make it easy on myself. Got to be on the daily. Yeah, the higher lows, but making higher highs in the price, but higher lows in RSI. Meaning the speed of this moving up, because this did go the entire month of November. It's ending. Oh, that does look a little double topish right in there, doesn't it? Ooh, and then when we come here on the daily, we can see this gap down, this supply zone gap clear. From the close of this candle to the open of that candle, we drag it across to where we at. And boom, we looking for AbbVie below 154.29. So the reason, well, let me put that line back where it was. It was here and I was looking. I'm always going to look historical and I see these highs from September. Move that down there. And when I move this to these highs, that allowed me to see this gap up right here. So AbbVie below 153.22 to swing it. Hell, that might even be a dang day trade, right? We might catch it from 153.22 and it could reach 151.80 in a day. That could be a day trade. And then we look to hold a runner down to the 150.50 and then because this is looking like a double top, right? And so it could come down here. Let's see where let's go back to the weekly and see if we have any averages up there. It has been consolidating right in here too. And if we mark off, because this could be those lows, right? But this is lows from October 22, and then it made higher low. June 23, November 23. So more so my trend line like here. I could probably be looking at like this is my trend line instead. Right? They're just giving us like a megaphone, or you could say symmetrical triangle. They play out the same. On my averages, it's above, everything's trading above average at the current moment though, but that makes me feel good on the daily. That's confluence right there. Yeah. We want AbbVie to break this range though. Would not play it inside of here because look where it's just like stayed at in there. It'd have to come below this 153.22, 151.80 to trade it down. And to the upside, I wouldn't want to play calls inside of a supply zone. So it would be above 158.37, which is playing into all-time high. So we'll watch that one. And then Palantir is the last one that I'm looking at as well. There is a gap on the daily. When was this from? It was from earnings. From the close of one day to the open of the next. Most people, I think, like the falling window is from wick to wick, though. But y'all see what we hold on. And here, now, is this a demand zone? Yes, it absolutely is. But you have to be able to look at it and piece it all together, right? Because people will look at this and be like, oh, that's a demand zone, it's about to bounce up. Yeah, but watch this trend line. I need to pull back to this trend line, which is entering into here, giving us this push into 1562. Now, look how we look at the confluence that we get. We need to lose 1695, the weekly 20 MA. With 1680. So actually we're going to say 1680, which is the daily 100, right? Because we don't want to get caught in a bounce. So we're going to mark that off, the 1680, because on the weekly, the moving average was 1695 to 20, right? We don't want to get caught in a bounce. So we're gonna take the 1680, looking for a move to the 1568, which I'm using the thing, I use the ruler to measure it. From that level down to the trend line is still a 6% moving price. Come on, that's a bag being made. Palantir, super affordable. Trade, like I said, trading down to the trend line, and if it did lose that, like down towards there. On the 4-hour, that's right where the 200 is. And it's below everything on the 1-hour. It's already giving bearish signals there. On the daily, we got the 20 close below or cross below the 50, which is bearish. So yeah, Palantir is definitely at the top of my alert list for below 1680. Not looking forward to the upside. And that's my watch list, you guys. Yay.